Yeah, I
See
don't
what?
know if we're actually live. They said they can't see or hear us.
That is very weird.
We
I
have to
usually
introduce
pull it up.
ourselves all over again.
Yeah, I pulled it up and I can't see anything.
All right, that was weird.
I
Apparently,
don't know if we're actually live. They said they
we
can't
are
see or
now
hear us.
live. Hopefully, everyone is seeing us. That is very weird.
I
We have to
usually
introduce
pull it up.
ourselves all over again.
All right, and
Yeah,
I'm
I
actually
pulled it up
hearing
and I can't see
myself, so
anything.
I gotta mute this shit. All right, that was weird. Apparently.
See what?
All right. So anyway, I'm the governor. It's Reina. I'm gonna point the correct way. This is Victor. Sean. No, wait, over here. And of course, Tomaj. Tell them who you are. They can see us
Yes. It's me, Tomaj, your boy from Big Bro and Little Sister Reacts, where I do reactions with my little sister. We do reactions to a bunch of comic book shows and more.
now. All right, sweet. Short and so what you missed was Reina was saying how it's 3 o'clock in the morning where she is because she's in the Netherlands, and Victor was saying that he's going to be a moderator at Fandemic Dead, but he doesn't get to interview me, so he's very sad. And but I get to interview Machond at Fandemic Dead. Well, we're going to be on a panel together, so it's going to be incredible. So yes, Victor is filling in for Jazz, who has got such musical talent she could not be here. And yeah, we're going to talk about 11x11. Rogue Element, this episode was called, and it's all about Eugene and his love. So he's writing a science fiction novel, which he's reading. And who caught the reaction when he professed his love? I was just like, what, dude, look at her face. She's saying it out of obligation. First of all, what do we all think about this Stephanie? I mean, she hasn't been a bad Stephanie, so far. But what's people's thoughts on this Stephanie prior to this episode? Let's start out with that. Go ahead.
Basic.
She's basic. Okay.
I wasn't sure if I believed she was who she said she was. It was a little
I didn't
too,
believe she was real Stephanie. Yeah.
yeah, like you kind of hit the jackpot. Like, you're no Peter Parker, Eugene, and this was a little too good for you right now.
Totally.
The
agree.
moment when they were getting the ice cream in the beginning, everybody already felt like that wasn't real Stephanie. And me had already reading the comics. I was wondering if it was going to be a black girl like the comics, but the black girl in the comics, she had some meat on her. Like how Eugene got some meat on her, they ain't go that route. But when they got to the Commonwealth and they were eating ice cream, and Black Stephanie had that ice cream, and he was like, "Is that Rocky Road?" And she looked at him and kept walking. I mean, that just, we knew.
Yeah, it was right there. But it was just so odd that she was being so helpful. So my whole thing is, I'm like sitting here trying to figure out what her angle is. I'm like, she helping them break into the radio room and then they get in trouble. She help them out. I'm like, what's her angle? I couldn't figure her out. I really couldn't.
I thought it was strange if she was a plant that she'd be out there with them on punishment duty, killing biters. That just seemed, it's like, maybe she's not, but maybe she's good for him. Maybe, they basically said, the real Stephanie is not available, but we want to know if this guy knows, and maybe it developed into something. But, well, spoilers, didn't fucking do it. But
I mean, it developed into something, just not at all what Eugene wanted.
Exactly. He was ready to get married.
That man was thirsty. Okay, this is his first
He was
time.
desperate for love.
He had
Man,
the apartment key made.
we got a
And
couple.
I guess we can say he's no virgin no more, I guess.
hey. Well, wait. Can we really say that?
I guess
And
I think so. He was way too happy when he woke up, right? So
I mean,
He was
I mean,
really
he
close
would
to
have been happy
knockout.
with a hand job. Come on.
you know what I'm saying?
Really.
That's, I mean,
Well,
she was
yeah.
kind of, and just rubbed it. And he was like, "Oh."
She could have
Amazing.
breathed in its general direction, and he would have,
Let's hope for his sake he no virgin no more.
Literally said when they showed him smiling in the bed, I'm like, so y'all wasn't gonna show us Eugene losing his virginity?
Come
Like,
on,
I need
come
to
on.
know if it was like, what was the energy? Was he scared? Because I would have got a good laugh out of it.
Stop playing. You know, Eugene be talking it through. Like, listen here, girl. I'm fixing to give you the business that you don't even understand you're about to get. That's
Literally.
Ooh.
I may
Y'all
not have a lot of
remember when,
experience, but I've read a lot of books.
Watched
I have seen
a
some
lot of
diagrams.
times. He's watched a lot.
Okay, now, Machond, now the fact that you brought that up leads into what I think is the biggest conspiracy that this episode confirms for me, and it's that Michael Cudlitz hates the character of Eugene. Think about this, okay? This goes all the way back from when he was with Rosita, and he literally, season 5, episode 5, was letting Eugene watch him wax, and knew that my man couldn't get no kind of love. And who directed this episode where Eugene gets his heart broken? Michael Cudlitz.
Very full circle moment.
That's all I'm saying.
I wonder if the kick later on was improv, or it was like, just kick him.
Just kicking.
He didn't expect it, so he was like, but he's a trooper, Yeah, I'm not convinced he didn't lose his V card. We got some people, but yeah, Ms. Kayla says didn't really like the episode much, but loved the ending reveal. Cleo says I didn't like the episode either, and it was wired. I think weird seeing Eugene in bed with a real woman.
Right.
Though we haven't seen him in bed with a fake woman either. I mean, he doesn't have a blow-up doll that I'm aware
That you know of.
Let me tell y'all something.
We
I
haven't
think
seen it
Eugene-
on screen. Maybe in the
I think
extended cut.
I think Eugene has beat his meat more than anybody that we have ever seen in The Walking Dead. I don't
On
care what
the
nobody says.
daily.
That
What do you
man-
mean?
That man is easily in his late 40s, okay? Did y'all see the gray hair on the side?
Oh
Did y'all
yeah,
see the gray hair?
absolutely.
I'm surprised he
remember
can see
they,
more than a foot in front of him.
Y'all remember when they revealed that they were supposed to originally have Eugene and Laura hook up, but they scrapped that scene? They were supposed to have a whole awkward sex scene.
Yeah,
So that would have been funny to see. That's what that made me think of.
man.
Now I'm going to put my instrument into your cavity.
Literally. He said in the PM instead of just saying PM.
That's
I was
right.
like, sir.
That's right. And I'm gonna
His
thrust
dialogue.
it vigorously. Yes.
Yeah, it
My
was.
innocent brain.
But he first of all, her saying it back, kind of rotten on her part. But I wasn't surprised that she didn't show up for ice cream. And then to see her, he's pounding on the door and she's friggin' packing. That was quite something.
Yeah, I thought that was kind of rude, right? Like, if this is all a conspiracy, black bag him. Like, just go ahead and take him out, put him in the back of something, drop him off somewhere. Don't make her disappear, because that's so awkward. At some point, they're going to walk around in the Commonwealth, and they're going to run into each other. And what's she going to do? Be like, no, that's not me. I'm this other person that survived the zombie apocalypse that looks just like the person who you were so sweaty for. Like, that's so messed up. So messed up.
Not to mention that she could have broke up with him. I mean, just because they had a relationship
Literally.
doesn't necessarily mean that, she had to disappear. She could have just been like, Eugene, this isn't working out. You missed the hole like 17 times.
Oh god.
And you went in the wrong entrance. And
Ow. Ow.
He was like, well, I read somewhere that the belly button was cavernous. And you're like, that's what's wrong with you right there.
well, to you it is, and that is a problem. Sorry, Josh. But, yeah, I mean, there were other ways to handle it other than her disappearing that would not have aroused his suspicions, that would not have gotten him all paranoid, searching for, putting up posters,
Dragon
all that kind
Princess
of stuff.
into it.
Mm-hmm.
And she
Yeah.
just trying to go to work and get her a cat.
Well,
I
she
felt
did
so
show up
bad.
at the door with some lasagna, so I mean, she kind of asked for baked
Lasagna.
Yeah, lasagna.
I felt
Yeah.
bad though when he sat there with these ice cream cones, and I was like, I wanted it to be real because he went through so much. I wanted this to be real. And seeing him sitting there with his melted ice cream, I was like, oh, you poor fucker.
And that music they played.
We've been in the Commonwealth for over a month at this point. So him and Stephanie been together damn near 24/7 for a whole month. And however long they was talking, like, what, maybe a month before then, they was talking for a long time. So yeah, he was ready to get married and say I do.
He was.
Well,
Absolutely.
I think it's more than a month. I think it's somewhere in that 6-month time period that this is happening. I think it's later.
Yeah.
I think it's definitely later than 30 days.
Yeah.
And then once she disappeared, he was looking for weeks. It wasn't like, 2
They
days
say it's
later.
something about a month in this episode.
Right.
Yeah.
So I don't know how long this episode, the span was, but it was a minute. So that's just an extra month on top of however long we was already here.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
But yeah, it was... it had to make things awkward for her because if he's putting up missing posters all over the place with her picture and she's just trying to get on with her life or work on what other assignments, people can be like, hey, aren't you the missing girl who,
Right.
And she's like,
no,
that's not,
no.
that's not.
I
And
saw
I
it in her
found it-
face.
I found it strange because they said that the police and the military, whatever, kind of gave up the search. But I'm like, wouldn't they be concerned if one of their own people was missing? Like, how y'all just giving up on somebody missing? Like,
Because they
I
knew.
mean-
wasn't missing.
Exactly. I saw
That's
it in her
crazy.
face. As soon as he said, I love you, she was like, I love you too. I was like, ooh, girl.
She
You
don't
did not
mean
mean
it.
that.
She don't mean it.
I think she panicked. And yeah,
Yeah,
Princess
she was like,
with her...
oh shit, I'm in too deep.
That was the code. That was the code right there. He said, I love you. I
Literally.
said, I love you. Get me out. Get me out.
Extraction required right now.
Isn't that deep, though? Like, the idea that they could potentially have been intimate. And that's not too deep. But the moment he's, like, emotionally devolving himself, like, hey, no, I feel this way for you, and I'm going to give you a key. She's like, that's too much, my guy. That's too much.
Yeah, she drew the line in the sand at that point.
It's
That was
like hanging
darkness.
from the chandelier, that was fine. But,
That was awesome. But love, ooh. No,
ooh,
this is zombie
that's just too
apocalypse.
much.
You too fast. You too fast.
Yeah, it was definitely. I think it wasn't a great exit strategy that she came up with, and then that guy who came out and he spotted, saying he was a plumber. Eugene was totally right. He had no tools.
Mm-hmm.
No
truck. Where was the work order? Any of that?
Yeah, he didn't look like he'd just been like fixing a clog or anything like that. So yeah, bad stories.
He did a very good job being creepy. Like, he just walking around mean, looking like he got something to hide. Like, sir, what is your job? Because we all know it ain't plumbing.
And it's apparently not being inconspicuous because
No, he's a different kind of maintenance man. That's what that is.
Exactly.
It's just read between the lines. Because that's why, considering the whole time that Eugene was sitting there holding ice cream, why wasn't she packed already? Why wasn't she already out the door? She was doing someone else. I'm just saying. You talk about he was a plumber. He's working on pipes. I'm just calling it like I see it. That's all I'm saying.
What
It's
I
more than
thought
just
at the
her
first.
apartment in that
it's
building.
possible.
It's more
That's
than
what I
just her
thought when I
apartment.
heard the noises. When I heard the noise, I'm like, she's banging someone else. And then
She
I
in
was
there.
like, oh, I was wrong.
But were you? You were just a
I
little
don't know.
after the fact.
I mean,
That's all I'm saying.
I was like, I thought
Mhm.
that. Yeah, I said to
Mhm.
my husband, she's cheating right now.
Right
Well,
now.
what I don't understand, he said it in the morning, and so she went to work and worked her full day instead of being like, hey, I need some personal time because I need to bail on, Super Clingy, who's a good science fiction writer but makes me listen to Iron Maiden and I can't take another song, so, yeah, it was...
The timeline kind of confused me. So he said, I love you in the morning. She got ready. She went to work. Apparently she didn't go to work, but it was still daylight.
No,
when
the
he
next
was
day she
sitting
didn't go
there.
to work.
It was the next day. Okay.
Yeah,
Because he
yeah.
was sitting there and when they showed the ice cream and they were doing the time lapse, I literally said, he finna still be holding both them same fucking ice creams. He not gonna move. And it was all melted in his hand. So she didn't come during the day, but then by the time he got to her house, she was just now packing because she was packing in the dark. So what was she doing all day?
Yeah, that... Getting authorization to leave,
Getting her story together. All right, I'm leaving. This is what we gonna do. I don't know. But she didn't pack her shit until that night.
I hope she was
Bang,
making
had a
copies
meeting
of
with
his
him.
book, because I really want to see.
Very invasive. By the way, that made me mad. I was like, "Why the fuck are you reading his book?"
That's how he felt until.
Mad. I was literally mad.
That's exactly how he felt. No, don't read that. It's not. Wait, you like it? Oh.
Right. I was like,
actually, that's what makes the "I love you" so bad, because that's what he was waiting for, was creative validation, and she gave him that, and he was like, "Oh, well, clearly I love you, and I can tell you this right now." And then she bounced. This was like a double-edged like stab from all wound sides. Like, he has no heart now. Like, Eugene about to be a savage. He about to run through the whole Commonwealth just slaying. Just watch. He gonna shave half of his head. He's gonna be salt ban on everybody. It's gonna be amazing. I'm calling it.
Well, I don't know about that, but he was getting pretty. Well, first of all, he started to look like Daryl, because I don't think he showered in that whole month.
He had
Can we
balls.
talk about how he was outside like the local drunk pissing on the side of the? I was so disappointed in him. Public indecency.
Blame it on the alcohol. You saw he had the bottle right there. It was coming in and going right out. That's what that
like
was.
And combed his hair, ain't got in the shower. You know the nigga ain't brushed his teeth. I'm talking about he was outside like the local drunk.
Do they brush their teeth like that in the zombie apocalypse though? That's
in
my
the
question.
Commonwealth they do.
I mean, they should, but
we got radiation. They got toothpaste.
I'm just saying, like, when they were getting up, she definitely kissed him as he just woke up and he hadn't brushed none of their teeth. So I'm just saying, maybe not.
They brushing their teeth.
I don't know. Before we get more into the Eugene thing, I do want to address the other storyline with the drug dealers and Carol and Lance, and their before Lance reappears in the whole Eugene thing. But that seems interesting. I mean, obviously there's medicinal uses for opium. Yes, there are. Believe it or not. Well, yeah, that whole thing seemed kind of shady. Tomaj, what was your thought about the whole, they're not part of the Commonwealth, but they're like partnered with the Commonwealth?
Independent contractors.
Yeah, I don't know. Lance, he has so much information in him, and I don't know. I just see him as the guy who likes to use people for, his own purposes. Like, so he brought Carol along. So he's like, okay, I want to see what else this woman can do. I want to get an idea of her skill range. So he put her up to the task. He's like, whatever you get from it, you get from it. So I just took it as he's like, all right, he has these deals with these people on the side. So he deals with all the relationships outside of the community. So I'm sitting here just trying to read Lance and see what he's trying to get from Carol. And then Carol's always insightful to me. So I'm trying to see what she's getting off Lance. So I was just really reading both those characters as best I could.
Anyone else have thoughts on the on that dynamic? Go ahead.
I always got something to say. So, y'all know Carol is my auntie. I love her so dearly. When she was going along on this trip with Lance, he knew he needed some help, and maybe this lady who can pick up on things so quickly can figure out some shit that he ain't clearly been able to pick up on all this time. When they got there, I was like, she finna figure this shit out in 10 minutes. I swear she is. And she did it.
Absolutely.
I mean, it's Carol. Like, I'm just curious, like, what is Lance gonna do now that he's seeing, like, how good she is? Very slowly. This is one time where Carol ain't came in and, like, played dumb and played, like, the little soft old lady. So I'm really, really, really liking this. Because usually, she come in, she quiet, she behind the scenes, she trying to see what's going on, and she just a soft old lady till it's time to pop her shit. But she came to the door like, all right, Ezekiel about to die. This is what we're not going to do. So let me. So I'm just curious to see where their relationship go.
Absolutely.
I think, she's going to be a problem. He's going to recognize that she's a problem and try to bring her on. And it's not going to work like he thinks it's going to. Because she ain't here for that. She's not here for the okie doke. I do think he was a genius to bring her to find out what was going to go on, talk to the ladies. She was reading stuff before she even went over and talked to them. She was just peeping game. Like, this is what, okay, you holding yourself, I know that because I've been there. I've been that woman that's been beaten up, da-da-da-da. So she was she was a hidden weapon that unfortunately Lance is not going to see coming when it stabs him. That's going to be
Mm-hmm.
Right,
One thing I
your
like
thoughts?
about
No, I agree with everything saying. And I'm just thinking Carol is back. That's all that's in my mind. Carol is back.
Absolutely. Tomaj, I'm sorry I interrupted.
Oh no, you're good. One thing that I liked between their conversations was when he was told Carol, he's like, "You still refer to your people as us, and then us as them, or whatever." I like that because it's so true. Because that's always how it is. When we're not leading, it's us and them. Like, so that was like one of the little nods that I really enjoyed. Because I'm like, yeah, every community we go to, we end up leading by the end of it. So I feel like that was a nod. That's what's probably going to happen, and it's not going to be our people till we're in charge.
Well, plus when they came into Alexandria, they were like, all of Rick's crew were staying in the same house. They were all given different houses, but they all stayed in the same house, stayed together. It was them. They weren't part of the community yet. So, but I do think that Lance sees something in Carol, because obviously the woman's got talent. She's somehow honed her skills. I don't know where she gets all these skills after being a housewife and being abused. Maybe she read a lot, but she is really, would be quite an asset. But we all know how this ends up. She's not going to stay in the thanks AMC for the spoilers. She's not going to stay in the Commonwealth and help Lance. We don't even know if Lance is, she could take out Lance. Lance seems to be, though, the glue that holds the Commonwealth together.
He in that spot in between the government and the people. That's why it's like, Pamela will never be that, because she's clearly up here. She doesn't even hold her own wine glasses. So, yeah. Well, I also feel like this is the most balanced we've ever seen Carol, because, like, usually Carol tend to lean, depending on the situation, Carol is to the extreme, she's not being like real soft and being beat on, but also she's not like insane, I gotta kill Alpha Carol. I feel like she's very balanced right now. She getting done what needs to be done. She ain't going crazy. She been with her man Ezekiel. She just cool right now. So I hope she stay like this.
I mean, that's because she's learned. She's been the queen, right? Like
that too.
She's been the lowest of the low, and she's been the queen. And now she's like, I see my position. I'm gonna just be this until it's time not to be this.
Yeah.
That's what I think. That's honestly that statement in terms of us versus them that's literally what she was telling Lance was, I'm not with you. Like, please understand, I helped you out with this thing and that's cool, but we are not the same. Like, you are you, I'm them. That's it. Like, don't even think that we're together.
And if it comes down to it, it's my people and fuck all of y'all. Really,
exactly.
If shit hit the fan, you know where I stand.
Because she's really here just to keep an eye on everybody. She's always watching. So
always watching.
That was very nice, very nice. Though I do have to say, Lance is proving himself to be. He's got his finger in so many pies. I think if they just killed Lance, or if he died in an accident, the Commonwealth would be up a creek, because he knows where the opium. He makes deals with the opium people. Or are they going to be able to send someone out? Are they going to be able to send Max out to renegotiate those deals? I don't think so. Plus he's dealing with whoever the spy crew is that fake Stephanie's a part of, Cheryl. So he's got his fingers in all these pies. He's reaching out to all these things. I am curious, though, and we'll get to it, about how he figured out the Alexandria angle. But we'll get there. But he's without him, I think Pamela couldn't manage the Commonwealth without him. And she treats him like gum on her shoe. So
literally,
she doesn't understand what he does.
She's been far removed from civilians her entire life. Her daddy was in the White House. Do you think she could fuck about regular everyday people? So don't you think that would even be worse during an apocalypse? She's really up there right now. Right. So, yeah. She's
definitely part of the 1%. How many people do you think were at that party last week? 50? There's 50,000 people in the Commonwealth. The math works out. 1%.
Exactly.
Actually, is it 0.1%? I don't even know, but they're.
I don't know, but it was a few. I would say a couple of dozen. I don't even think it was 50.
No.
Well, any beyond that were servants. So. But yeah, so I'm seeing a little bit more in the chat here. Apparently, there's some admiration, Tomaj, for you saying, "Look at the flowers" in your reaction.
I said they too.
They had the big field of flowers. I was like, oh, I don't care about to fuck somebody up. Who got some flowers today?
Yep.
I had to.
Yo, that's how Lance is gonna get it. She gonna dope him up on some poppy seeds and then just 86 him like, wow.
Yeah. By the way, anyone watching, my reaction is late. I was down with a bit of a stomach bug, along with May over the weekend. So yeah, I didn't get much done at all. So hopefully I'll have it out by Wednesday. We hope. I still have a Batman review to edit.
Yeah, you do.
Which was supposed to be much shorter than it ended up being. Damn you.
You got a lot to talk about. That's my bad.
Ms. Kayla says that she agrees with Machond that Carol is balanced right now and she isn't doing the wall stuff at the moment. Off the wall stuff, sorry. Toe's crew, Carol's a quick learner and has always been very observant. An abused person knows how to survive in all kinds of situations. She's very strong. I definitely agree there. And Phyllis says Daryl and Carol have a plan, and I love watching it play out. I don't know that they have a plan.
What plan?
Now, I think there's gonna be a plan at some point. But all right, so yeah, Lance definitely is the man to go to. I'm just hoping that he doesn't take so long evaluating Carol that Ezekiel doesn't survive. You know, it's like.
Because you know we got to have a major death this season, and we clearly know the top four that's going to make it out alive. So.
Yes, thanks, AMC. We know it's not going to be Maggie.
Right.
No, it's
That
not going to be
leaves
Negan or Carol or Daryl.
I feel like that leaves
I don't know why they do
Ezekiel like at the top of the hit list, which I hope not, because I really don't want Ezekiel to die.
No, don't worry. Next week they're going to be announcing Zoo of the Dead with Ezekiel and Jerry. Jerry,
Right.
come, and that will be the next spin-off show because they are going to milk this property for all it's worth.
To be fair, though, from the book's standpoint, we're lucky that Ezekiel's still alive now.
Can you say that again? And my auntie.
You know what I'm saying? Like, you know, because you're right, because they didn't make it past the Whispers. So.
Yeah, and Rosita.
Right.
Wait.
Yeah. Them spikes had mad heads on them. Many.
Comic spoilers. Cover your ears. I'm sorry.
No, sorry. We're beyond that. We're like, come on. It's like years ago. You guys read that already.
Or we've heard it.
Spoiler alert. There you go.
Yeah. Cleo says none of our people were at the party either. That's not quite true. Yumiko was there, and Princess got in, but they're kind of newer people. And Daryl was there, walking around like, you know,
security guard.
Daryl.
As Daryl does.
Yeah.
Right.
Another thing I really like about this Carol and Lance situation is I know Carol will never let him take advantage of her. So I just feel I really don't give a fuck that she with him. I'm like, girl, yeah, go. It's certain people that I would feel more uncomfortable if they were in that situation. But because it's Carol, I'm like, oh yeah, she got it. She got this. She got this.
True.
So she's not gonna get taken advantage of. So I don't worry. I'm really excited about it.
Yeah, he can't use her like he does with Eugene. So because they're two different people.
Exactly. Case in point. So yeah.
Well, do you think like that's part of the mess up of his plan? Like he flaunted and was like, you know, Eugene's like, I'm gonna tell everybody. He's like, go ahead, I don't care. Tell people what you want to tell. But he never specified Carol. I'm gonna tell Carol what you did. That is a very different conversation.
That's true.
He didn't care because remember he was insane, so he had to sign the papers.
Right, but see that's for like everybody else in the
Carol's
Commonwealth.
gonna believe him.
Carol will be like, nah, that's my guy.
Yeah.
Like that's
she
my
know
man.
Eugene.
You don't.
Yeah,
exactly.
But Rosita will. I think Rosita will.
She's not gonna necessarily turn around and confront Lance. I actually would not be surprised if, in addition to Carol helping Lance, she's gathering evidence on him,
Of course,
so that she can turn the tables at some point and be like,
If
"Oh,
need
so
be.
you're not gonna help Ezekiel? Well, I guess I'll be going to Miss Milton's office with this information and this information,
Exactly.
and yeah, you sure you want to renege on our deal here? So."
Carol's the type that'll throw a dead or a cut off zombie head in your bed and just let it bite you in your sleep. Like, she's that type. Like, he would think like, yeah, everything's sweet, and he wakes up, zombie heads in his bed, and he's like, "What's this?" She's like, "I didn't like what you said. I
I
didn't like
hope
how you
he know
treated my
not to
guy."
cross Carol. I hope he know
He
that
gonna learn.
it's-
He gonna learn.
it's what's not good for him.
You survived this long, and look, oh, this is how you go.
Toa Screw would so watch Zoo of the Dead. And Ms. Kayla's also unhappy about AMC spoiling us again. Bavarius says there aren't many deaths in the Commonwealth story in the comics, but I think we'll see more on the show as we get into it.
The biggest death of the entire 193 issues happened at the Commonwealth. So what do you mean? There were no deaths.
No,
Not a lot of them. Not
Aren't
a lot.
many. Aren't many doesn't mean zero.
That one,
The
that
non-zero.
one was enough for me. That fucked me up. I almost threw that comic book against the wall. I was pissed the fuck off. when that
Thank
happened.
you so much, Mr. Kirkman. All right.
Robbie K.
I hope I get a chance to read them one day. We
Girl,
can't get
please.
them over here. We can't get them over here. It's
Oh,
really
what?
hard. If I
real?
want to get them, like it's like $600 to $800 to get them over here, and I can't afford that. So I
Let us-
only have Pierce Negan. That's the only comic book I have, and I really want to read
Let
them.
us talk. We will send care packages to you. Say less.
Read comics online. Anyway, I didn't say that, did I? Nope. Anyways, yeah, there's let's get back to Eugene and his obsession. And then of course we have Princess, who is trying to help him out and just be like, look, she wasn't that into you. This is crazy, and sees his murder wall or disappearance wall.
Listen, y'all thought Robert Pattinson was the Batman? No, Eugene is the Batman. He solved this mystery from top to bottom. He saw the clues that didn't even exist and still figured it out. My man was on his grind. Again, Thirst Trap was super hard, but yes, Eugene was the sweetest when it came to solving this mystery. Whole Scooby-Doo.
Down to the times. He had
Right?
Times.
Yeah.
Like,
Times.
come on.
He was
Map this
definitely watching people, but got thrown in jail again. And poor
Because a
Princess.
snitch. That lady snitched, man. She's such a... Knock her down.
Well, I mean, honestly, if I saw someone breaking it, if a neighbor saw someone breaking into my house, I want him to snitch. Come on. Seriously?
True.
It's the zombie
Upstanding
apocalypse.
citizen.
I don't know, man. I need you to kind of go confront somebody first. This is zombie apocalypse. Don't go tell somebody. I need you to come after them. Be like, what are you doing? You
The
supposed to be here?
the only old lady that would approach somebody that looked like Eugene is Carol. Okay, when you look at Eugene, you don't really know how to feel. Look, if you just saw him, how would you feel about him? You wouldn't know how to feel
I mean, you would smell him coming. That's for sure. At that point,
before
Like,
he even opened his mouth, and then once he opened his mouth, you're gonna be like,
He
I'm
is
gonna just have to
challenged.
stab you. I'm gonna just have to stab you right now. That's wild.
yeah. When he, speaking of Eugene being locked up in jail, as soon as he came with that contract, I said, read the contract, read the contract, read the contract, so you're not gonna read the paperwork,
And he should
looked
know
at it for a
better.
second and just signed it. I was like, Eugene really wasn't to go. Him out of all people didn't read the paperwork.
Well, again, emotional turmoil. He's still broken up about this whole thing. He thinks something nefarious has happened. He thought he had it figured out that he might find his lady love again, and then Lance walks in and says, yeah, the guy's a plumber.
He had literally every part of the story right, except that she wasn't Stephanie. He had everything right,
Right.
but that
When he
part.
was When he was talking about the mystery man, I knew immediately that was Lance. I saw that hair, I saw that silhouette. I was like, no, that's Lance. Fuck off.
I just wonder when Lance has time to sleep. I mean, he's dealing with drugs. He's taking care of the parties for Ms. Pamela Milton. He's,
He's on the drugs to stay awake the whole time. That's what it is.
This man has 4 agendas. He knows how to plan his time.
He knows how to nap.
Am I the only person that thinks that Lance has a very disturbing smile? It's very
He does.
He'd be like,
he freaks out my husband. And my husband's like, please don't let him smile. It freaks me out.
I would not buy a car from him.
Every
It's like a
time he
fake
smiles,
smile.
it makes me so uncomfortable.
That's
He'd be
amazing.
like,
Cleo
It's
says one of her Twitter sisters pointed out the waffle cone on the wall. And there was a waffle cone on the wall. Okay. Miss Kayla says the old lady was part of the neighborhood watch. So you gotta understand,
She's at her door. Like, that's my thing, though. It's like, how did she see them? Like, what did she see them doing?
From the back on top of the building.
Was she back there? What was she doing back there? Ain't nobody asking those questions. Them old
Hey,
Well,
ladies.
got
she
nothing
was
to do with
watering her
Commonwealth.
opium. Come
I'm
on,
just,
you know.
see what I'm saying? I'm like, I don't know, man. She kind of suspect herself. She was trying to break in too. Saw them, was like, shh, I'm gonna tell the cops on them.
No, she was harvesting her weed. It's legal now.
That's what it is. That's what it is.
She grows weed, and here you go. Here's a dime bag,
There
Sonny.
you go. That's amazing.
Yeah, it's Carol be doing walker heads instead of horses head. That is gangster. That would be a thing to do. Why do you think I used to store them in tanks so I could, if I really got drunk one night, I could just throw them in Milton's bed. If I figured out that, But anyways, moving on.
Wait, speaking of walkers, so we're not gonna talk about that walker in that opening scene with the jaw hanging down here.
He looked like Davy Jones from Pirates of
We're
the
not gonna
Caribbean.
talk about that. They have never disappointed with a walker ever.
Mm.
Never has Walking Dead disappointed me with a walker. Never. The jaw was that. Ooh, that was a good walker. I don't even know where the walker came from. It was so juicy to be in the woods. Oh, that was a good walker.
You know where it came
Moist.
from? Texas.
Eh,
Walked all that way. All the radiation made it a little melty. The jaw started hanging
And
down.
the head was so big.
It was.
Like
It-
they got ran the fuck over. Like I don't
Terrible.
like the head was literally like this. I don't know.
But he was still standing, still strong.
All right. Before we get to the final revelation, we also have Connie and Kelly running around, basically hounding Mercer, trying to, catch a story about the,
Tyler.
about Tyler and his fate and what he did wrong and, what would happen to him. So what were your thoughts on that?
You need to be
Tomaj.
careful.
Tomaj, yeah, start us off. You've been too quiet. You're making me nervous.
Let's see. That Connie was my favorite part of the episode because unlike Eugene, she was actually asking questions. So I love the whole thing. She was arguing with her boss this episode, right? About this episode? Yeah, about
The lady that print the paper. We don't know if that's her boss.
right. They're trying to cover up what happened at the party because they was paying people off to keep quiet about it, but Connie was the only one trying to tell the truth. So then they sent her off on the little Mercer mission, and she was supposed to ask the standard questions. But I liked the scene with her and Mercer because it was like he gave her an answer, like he gave her the answer she wanted without directly answering it. Like nobody else has done that. So I'm like, okay, so Lance is somebody we can put pressure on, So I enjoyed that. And of course, I loved the end when they got the list and everything. It made me, wonder a bit more like who gave them that. I think the obvious answer is Mercer, but it's just like, why? What exactly does it mean? Is these people who disappeared, or is this like, my whole theory on the resistance thing, are these people that, are joining the resistance? Like, I don't know what they want her to look into. So I loved her whole thing. She was my favorite part of the episode. So
Definitely. And I have to say, I'm liking Mercer more and more. You can tell he's been like towing the party line, but he's starting to get little fed up.
Yeah,
Reina.
he's definitely the
Oh, go
fit
ahead.
of this universe right now. For all the different stormtroopers that they got walking around, he's gonna switch over. You can feel it. Like you just know he's not with this.
Never trust a Crimson Guard. Reina.
I agree with the resistance thing with the list. That was what I was thinking. Like these are all people that are like part of the resistance. I do think Connie needs to be careful because I'm kind of getting kind of scared for her because she's too obvious and saying it to like everybody. You don't really know who you can trust. So I do feel like kind of scared for her because we already lost her once, not knowing what happened to her, and as Tyler suddenly disappeared, like where the hell did he went? Like people starting disappearing over there. So be careful because I feel like someone's going to be on her or like, snitch on her. But I do think Mercer's kind of trying to help her putting a story out without making it known that it's him doing it, especially after she mentioned that Stephanie was his sister. It looked like his expression went like, oh shit, you figured out. Like he was already like, oh, I already wondered why you were gonna find this out. So it was something he kept secret, but why?
Why is the
I
big
do think
question of
Connie.
this episode?
Because when people know things about you, they use it against you. He's the head of the army, so if anybody is into it with him, they could go do something to his sister easily.
Yeah.
I feel like Mercer is another person that's really holding shit together. He run the whole army. He is the neighborhood hero. Everybody love and respect that man. Kids dress up as him for Halloween. Like, they love Mercer. He already made it clear that the only reason he is there because who want to go live out in the fucking sticks and survive? He don't want to live like that. He want to live as close to like as a regular person as possible. So I like Mercer. And the thing with like Connie, y'all know that's my girl. I hope don't nothing happen to her. I'm scared a little bit for her because I feel just a little bit safe because her sister's always with her, so she don't be wandering around by herself. But still, it's like I don't know.
They can both get snatched.
Yeah, and I don't know where the fuck Tyler went because it's Mercer's thing. Mm-hmm. So if Connie don't know, and if Mercer don't know, where the fuck is he at?
Ask Pamela.
Come bail him out.
I think that's literally that's why Mercer made the moves or some of the moves that he did. If it was him that gave the list away, it was that move where he found out that he really wasn't in control or didn't have the power that he thought he had, and was like, all right, now I got to tear this down because I'm thinking I am holding stuff together. I am a linchpin, and I'm not that. Somebody went over me easy peasy without any question, and these people are actually playing it like I'm nothing. Like when I'm like, I'm the one that makes that choice. And it's like, apparently not. Oh, so you cool with that? Oh, you cool with that? Like, okay. So I see the room now. I see who I am. You respect my authority. Like facts. Like he's like, you nothing but disrespect. Okay, cool. I'm gonna put a hole in your wall and I'm walking out. And I'm gonna put it up here super high where y'all can't reach it either.
Yeah, try to patch that, motherfuckers. No, I do think that Mercer enjoys his position because you could see when he was out there killing biters, he enjoys it. It's like he's got some rage that he needs to express, and doing it to people is considered unacceptable in some societies. Woodbury, not so much, but we don't talk about that. But he likes the civilization. Being able to be safe at night in the Commonwealth, but he likes going out there and taking out those biters. Now, Connie, on the other hand, she still thinks she's in the United States. She still thinks she's protected by some kind of First Amendment, freedom of the press, and it was clear that her boss was saying, I had to rewrite it. I want you to do it next time. That is basically a state-run newspaper. Vladimir Milton over there, she calls the shots, and, the newspaper has to basically print whatever she wants. So that is, we're getting a view of the Commonwealth who thought, it's like it used to be. Well, maybe how it used to be in, Soviet Russia, but not how it used to be in the U.S. Those same rights that Connie thinks that the press can just do whatever it wants, they should be able to, but no. I think that's going to get her in a bit of trouble.
It made me wonder too, like, Go ahead, Sean.
No, you go. You haven't talked enough.
Exactly.
I was wondering, like, what would happen, like, if they did run the story? Like, what is the consequence for that? Like, what is that lady scared of? Like, I don't know, because like Mercer, he quickly tried to give Connie the Darrow treatment, which was basically like, just do things this way, makes things easier. This is how you get ahead. But she wasn't having it. So I'm like, what is the consequence that they're so afraid of? What would happen to Connie or Connie's boss if they expose the truth? Would they disappear? Would they end up on that list?
I think we kind of got the answer in the end.
I think people are gonna stand up. I think, I don't know, if people already feel the same way that Tyler feel, and they see that somebody else already stood up, people are more likely to get together and revolt. So they don't want it to look like anybody is pushing back. It's all peaches and cream. They are selling the fucking Commonwealth. You saw the commercial. Come on now, we selling it. It's perfect. Nothing's wrong. Everybody's happy. So if they see that it's some pushback, people who already feel that we're more likely to join in. So they're like, oh, hell no. They nip this shit right in the bud. That's how I feel.
Now, on a practical level, should they run a story that is not approved of by the state, first of all, they're going to replace her boss with someone who's going to immediately print a retraction. I'm not saying that some people might not see it and believe, but a retraction will be done. Evidence will be found against the reporter and the boss, showing them in some criminal conspiracy to basically discredit them, and they will be either executed or expelled from the Commonwealth for some kind of heinous crime. That's how fascist dictatorships work. If they actually put something out there, it would immediately be, retracted. It would definitely be, and they would do their best to discredit to the maximum.
I don't know. Do they execute people at the Commonwealth? I mean, they got jail. We
haven't seen it
yet.
So I think they're brainwashing people. Seriously, if you look at like Eugene, I think there's some brainwashing shit going on.
Where's Taylor?
I feel like you gotta give Eugene just a little bit of benefit of the doubt, because he had been talking with Stephanie for a long time and developed a genuine connection. So that was real. It was real. But Lance saw an opportunity to see, okay, who these people are, because Alexandria could have been a community of 100,000 people. He wanted to know what it was. So then they had the decoy Stephanie. So that's what fucked him up. So I'm not mad at Eugene for falling in love, because that was real. But they did the baby switch on him. Yeah, which I don't feel bad for Eugene at all. I feel like he actually deserved to get his heart broken, because I feel like that's like the little bit of payback he got back for getting so many people killed for lying that he had a cure for the apocalypse. Like, you've made it this far and all you've got is a broken heart.
That's true.
You deserve that.
Shame on you.
Yeah, he deserved that. So
my theory is that, Max, aka Stephanie, met Eugene. Everything was genuine. They discovered her communication, and they basically said, we need to meet these people, and was probably convinced that they wouldn't be just, grabbed and captured. But, she arranged the rendezvous, and then they basically said, okay, well, we cannot expose you to danger. You're Mercer's sister. You need to, we're going to be calling you Max from now on. Maybe that's her middle name, Stephanie Maxine, Mercer's sister. I don't know what her full name is, but,
right.
So they basically said, you need to do this, and if you don't, we will expel Eugene and send him out into the wild without any help. So basically threatening him, and then they put their own person in. So I think it was genuine to start with, and Lance found out about it, took advantage of it, and said, we need to bring in some fresh blood. We need to expand, find out, expand the Commonwealth's hold. And though what exactly his end goal is, why he wanted to bring in more people.
The more he knows about the world, the better.
Didn't Eugene and Stephanie lose contact at one point? That he was waiting for her to call, and he was sitting at that radio being all obsessed, but I haven't heard from her in so long.
Yeah.
So maybe that's when she got caught.
But he didn't have a radio with him when they was traveling, did he?
No, when he was still there.
Yeah.
Well, wasn't that when Rosita got on the mic and
Yeah.
then she got spooked? I think that's what it was. So he was trying
Yeah.
to get her to come back. And then, Hilltop caught on fire.
For that long. Yeah, he was like in the bathroom or some shit. I don't know where he was at. And it's like, why would you get mad at Rosita? If I heard somebody on the radio, hello, I would have did the same thing. I feel like Eugene should have caught on. As smart as this man is, he's not even just book smart. Eugene is very, like, he's done a lot of practical things. He's not just book smart. He wouldn't have made it this far if he was just book smart.
Yeah,
As intelligent as Eugene is, I feel like he should have picked up on that shit. You really had an intimate relationship with this lady. No matter, like, there was no way that Stephanie could have gave up the amount of information that she had on you in that short period of time to fake Stephanie. I feel like he should have, like, it's only so much she could have told her at that point. I feel like he should have caught on to it a little bit sooner.
Well, you got to remember all the time
knew.
they spent on the road was times they were debriefing, you know, and he didn't know all the information, but who knows? They might also been recording those broadcasts, you know.
Writing
I don't
it down.
Yeah.
It's like,
I think Eugene was just so desperate for love. He just kind of blocked out anything else. Like
She
he
never
was
even
just.
in the Rocky Road. Like, sir.
I don't think
come
he
on, that
cared.
was
I
a
think
big
he
point.
just.
The fucking
It was,
ice
but
cream.
I think he dismissed it because he was just so happy to be in love. He didn't care about anything else. Like he ignored all the red flags. So
that's true. You see what you want to see. I do want to say, Geronimo Dominguez, thank you so much for the super chat. That was awesome of you. I'm glad you're tuning in and enjoying. Some other stuff in the chat. Yeah, they definitely want Daryl to stop by and see Connie in her apartment now.
Mm-hmm.
I was hurt Daryl wasn't in this episode. Y'all know I wanted to see him. I was like, where's Norman?
Norman need a break too.
He's taking care of some things.
Norman got 300 jobs. We know. Norman got 300 jobs.
Exactly.
He's trying out his Ghost Rider leathers. Anyway, yeah, we're getting some. Bavaria says Commonwealth is kind of fascist.
Kind of.
Yeah.
Being polite. They're being polite.
It's actually not only as fascist. It's kind of like almost like a kingdom because you got royalty. You got Milton and her son, and the nobility, and then you got the rest of the paupers and the free folk. But
I want her son to die so bad.
So mean. Understood, but so mean.
Tarek,
He too old to be a bitch. That's a grown ass man, sir. He at least that nigga at least 30, at least.
Yeah, but look at who his mama is. Like, what's he supposed to do?
She don't even seem to like him though. I
Right.
don't know.
Like,
She gave him a side eye. I was like,
But she let him be a bitch. She.
Don Jr. Don Jr. Anyway,
shots fired.
so Tarek Stedman says Tyler was probably traded to the CRM. And this is a little beyond, but do you think Lance knows about the CRM?
No.
No, not yet.
I feel like
wouldn't
if he
be
knew about the
surprised.
CRM, he would be walking around worried.
Yeah.
Unless he felt that they were too large of a community for the CRM to take out. I mean, if I was they're trying to build a better world.
No,
I would think
they're
that
trying
they
to
would.
build the same world that we already had pre-apocalypse.
Well,
They're
no,
trying to maintain.
CRM is what I'm talking about.
Oh, okay.
Says they're trying to, make the world better, what it should be. I would see them looking at the Commonwealth as more a place to assimilate than to wipe out like a little college town that survived. Yeah. And there's some agreement that Eugene is so desperate. So let's get to the final scene. Eugene doesn't buy the bullshit from Lance and basically tracks and goes into the thing and basically is confronted by Stephanie's foot to his stomach. That
Very hard.
that was a heartbreaking scene to see him realize that the woman that he loved so much was, really didn't give a shit. So,
At all.
yeah, reminds me of a few relationships I've had. But anyway.
Am I the only person that laughed when she kicked him?
No, I did.
Okay.
It was a little funny, and I didn't realize it was her at first.
No. Me neither.
I realized it was her. I wasn't sure where she kicked him. That's why I didn't laugh right away, because I thought she might have kicked him in the nethers. And, you know, for most dudes, we got to wait, make sure you're okay before we can laugh at that. You know what I'm saying? Because we all feel, oh my God. Like, that was what that was right there for me.
Though, come on. In RoboCop, when
that dude deserved it. That dude deserved it. That's different.
Does anyone speak Spanish, by the way?
I wish I was
español.
Okay.
Hola, mi nombre es Juanita. Soy de Chicago. I mean, I get y'all a little something, but I ain't fluent.
Okay. Geronimo Dominguez says, good stream. Could you say something in Spanish?
Oh, there you go.
That's, yeah, I can say, gracias, mi amigo. I don't know how to say Walking Dead. Muerta, I don't know.
It's just Walking Dead. Names don't translate. A name is a name.
Right. Yes, but walking is, you know, a word, and dead is a word.
But you couldn't translate. Okay. But yeah.
So, you know.
Right. How do you say The Walking Dead in Spanish? The Walking Dead in Spanish.
Yeah. You can also say it in Portuguese.
Well, dead is muerto. I know that.
Right.
But Geronimo says he thinks that Lance will have the death of Aaron in the comics.
Ooh. That sounds interesting.
Yeah.
That would be an interesting.
Aaron died in the comics.
Violently.
But, I have no clue.
I don't know.
Still had one of the most fucked up deaths in the comics to me.
But I'm still just curious. What did Lance? I mean, knowledge of the world's great, but you know, him tricking. You know, you taking full credit for tricking Alexandria. You know, to contacting the Commonwealth, and then bringing him in. What do they really get out of it? I mean, other than he gets Carol, which, you know.
War.
Yeah. The only way for Eugene to completely give up his community and get the information was the situation that happened. There was no other way to get that information out of him. One thing about Eugene, he would have died, honestly, for us and not gave us up. It wasn't a hard transition for him to make because that was damn near his girlfriend. Right. Honestly. So it wasn't like he was giving us up to strangers. He really went and got us help. And Lance, I think it really is all about knowledge at the end of the day. Alexandria could have been a community with 10 million factories, manufacturing all kind of shit they could have used. Like, you don't know what it is. So now that he's completely found out everything about Alexandria, it's like, oh yeah, fuck Eugene. I know everything that I want to know at this point. Like, you didn't know what kind of community it was. I feel like he just really needed to know. Like, the people that they got over there growing all them poppies, he not gonna go grow that shit. It's true. So he's outsourcing. I don't know. I feel like it really was
I think it's more than knowledge. I think he's trying to grow the Commonwealth, and it's rather than worry about a hostile neighbor.
Yeah.
He wants to absorb those neighbors. And basically, eventually, Alexandria could become an outpost of the Commonwealth. You know, they're trying to... Because I'm sure they left some people there to help because, you know, poor Aaron and Diane and, you know, and Lydia aren't going to manage it by themselves, even with, what's his name, Virgil, you know, helping, you know, if he's not drugging anybody. You know, I don't think they're rebuilding it all by themselves. So I'm sure there's some of the no-name Alexandrians there, but they probably sent over some people. And they're going to make Alexandria rely on the Commonwealth. And that is basically how you subjugate, you know, a people is by making them rely on you.
Right. It's still expansion.
Isn't that not something that he said? He was like, your people were about to starve. Like he mentioned.
Yeah, they did help.
So, I mean, he was pretty proud. I mean, he seemed pretty proud that Eugene figured out what he really did. And he was like, yeah, I did that, you know.
That's because Lance is actually in charge.
I'm going to butcher this.
Exactly. Because he's in charge. He can't do anything to him.
I'm going to totally butcher this. Los Caminantes Muertos. I totally butchered it. Thank you for, you know, that was my attempt. So thank you.
There you go.
Wait, I need to go read this.
This is why I take the French. Est-ce que vous comprenez le français?
Un petit.
Apu. But yeah, that's well, I mean, Eugene is pretty much powerless from doing anything about this whole situation. And, and Lance is unfortunately correct. I mean, overall, Eugene's broken heart, whereas it's, not exactly an ideal, it's regrettable. But, the Alexandrians who came in, Ezekiel has a chance of possibly getting the surgery he needs, provided Carol, does whatever Lance wants. It is a safe environment, but yeah, it's still rotten to the core, but it's still, it's a new place for Rick's crew to carry on its legacy of just fucking the place up and taking over. So
no, this is why it's funny. We've been to so many communities over the years. I feel like we get to a community when shit is already, we always get there before shit hit the fan. Like, it's gonna hit the fan anyway, but for some reason, when we get there, the process is expedited.
It's a cloud. It's the cloud that we carry as we go along.
Do you remember how beautiful Alexandria was?
Yeah. Because that shit was gonna happen anyway with Tyler. Like, if it wasn't Princess beating his ass, he could have fucked up another day and they was gonna do the same thing. There are thousands more just like me. Yeah, y'all are being treated like peasants, I can understand. But when our people are on premises, the process is expedited. I don't know what it is.
Well, I also think that Pamela is so out of touch with the people. She's like, could there be thousands more? She doesn't know what's going on. Lance kind of shelters her from the unpleasant parts. He takes care of all that shit. So he knows. She probably couldn't
name 3 civilians. I promise you, she couldn't name 3.
Well, y'all know my theory.
Right. What's your theory?
Y'all know my theory. I think Lance is the head of the resistance, so that's why he was trying to. He told Pamela no, because he don't want to expose this whole thing. Because I still am sus about the fact that he used Eugene to get our people here. Like, he wanted them here for a reason. Of course, we benefit, but what do you really get out of it? Yeah, you grow and you expand, but did you really need us? No, but your resistance does. So I don't know. But Eugene, he frustrated me because he wasn't asking why. Like, this dude's telling you, yes, I manipulated you, I did all these things to you, she had her lie to you, but he's not asking why. I'm like, bro, ask him why he's doing this. Like, there's a bigger plan here. You figured all this stuff out and you give it up now, you just crying. I'm like, come on, bro. And then he didn't even go up the stairs, see who's up there. Like,
oh my God, thank you. I was like, so you're not gonna go upstairs and see what they doing? I was screaming.
Various is the same thing. It's like, why didn't you go upstairs and peek and see what they were doing?
I was so mad.
Eugene was too in his feelings.
Abandoned building every night.
I tell you what they were doing. They were watching a sneak premiere of Tales of the Walking Dead, episode 1.
I was so mad he didn't go upstairs the whole time. I was like, so no? Okay.
Geronimo wants to know, do we see the links from 11x23? No.
First of all, I don't do sneak peeks. No.
Yeah, I don't look for spoilers.
Nope.
Yeah, I'm not a big fan of spoilers, so even though I haven't seen the Batman and I have to friggin' anyway, we're not going to talk about that. Look ashamed, Victor.
All right.
No, it's
Eugene
not really
was crying so hard, I thought he was going to start slobbing on them stairs. I was laughing. I'm talking about he was distraught.
He frustrates me. And then after that, he went to the alleyway. Like, sir, go home. Take a shower. Like, drink some wine. Bro.
You're not going to get a new Stephanie looking like that.
Right.
And he burnt his book, and I'm like, don't do that. Come on.
Right.
I was
he
so
frustrates
mad.
me.
I was all for it. I was laughing. He burned every last picture of her he had on the wall. I'm like, yeah, fuck that bitch. When I saw his book, don't burn your book. Don't burn your book. Don't burn your book.
That's you. That's not her.
And,
so,
and she really did like your book.
She did.
Yeah, but Lance saying you should go ahead with that, kind of was the, it's like, well, fuck you, Lance. I'm not going to listen to you.
But my thing is, that was your dream your whole life, to be a science fiction author. You going to throw it away over a bitch that lied to you. What? Sorry.
And trust me, it's not like there's a lot of competition anymore.
Right.
I mean, he had nobody, and now there's thousands of people. He can find somebody. Come on.
So we got a question. Which characters do we think are going to die by the end of the series? Obviously not Daryl. Obviously not Carol. Negan. Maggie. I'm pretty sure it's not going to be Judith.
We need all the kids alive. Jerry, Navila, and Ezekiel, and Rosita. Oh, I wish they would kill Rosita. Kill Gabriel.
Yeah, I think Rosita, Gabriel, Ezekiel, and Jerry, actually. That's my prediction.
Don't y'all... No, we
All
need
these people.
We need Jerry family to be the only family that still got their mama and daddy together, okay?
True.
Maintain that, please.
I really hope that Aaron survives.
Yeah.
You know, definitely he's on my stay list. Diane, I like Diane, but I don't know her that well. So, you know, if she dies, I'll feel bad. But it's like...
Oops.
I'm
You
still
know,
not sure
I
about
do-
the Daryl and Carol, though, because I feel like, remember when they left off, like, together with the boat thing? I think, like, the spin-off that's coming from him could be that particular moment when they were together, that they're making a spin-off out of that. And that's the feeling that I get with it, because they took off together at some point. So I feel the spin-off is going about that. But I've been having that feeling since that kind of got out.
No. What happens? Carol does die.
No.
And Daryl travels the country, and it's just like in Dexter when his father's talking to him.
Wow.
Carol is constantly and talking to him and guiding him, and
Carol is his dark passenger.
is his
That's
dark
what you're
passenger.
saying?
Actually.
Okay.
Can y'all leave my auntie out of this?
Or Daryl dies, and he's the dark
No,
passenger. of
we gonna
Carol.
leave Norman out of this too. That's what we not gonna do. No.
On a
Daryl
real
was
note, though,
overrated.
it's hard to say because when Walking Dead kills people, they like there to be like a point to it. Like there has to be like a story motivation. I think it's too early for me to tell who would die and who would have the most impact, to be honest. I don't
Carl's
know.
death had no point, and I'm still mad about it.
They
Because
did
Carl
to
should
prop
be
up
here.
Negan. That's what the point
No,
didn't
was.
fuck
even
that.
get to
They
see
could have
it.
did something
No,
else.
the point was they had to pay him
they
more because
should've.
he just turned 18.
Also true.
They got
Right.
money. Man.
After telling them that they weren't gonna kill him and he bought a house, but we ain't gonna talk about that. I'm still hurt
But-
about Chandler.
But see, though, I don't believe that because Andy was planning on leaving after the end of season 8. I know y'all read that when he said he was going to get lifted off by the helicopter. So
Well,
that,
we
they
know it was
wouldn't
his
have had to pay
Andy,
him.
Andy and I. We know it was their choice to leave. We know that, and they broke my heart.
No, he was going to leave in season 8. So they didn't need to kill Carl if it was a money issue because they were already going to have to stop paying Andy. So, like, that would have saved
No, it
money
wasn't a
there.
money
They-
issue. I think they planned
don't
on the
think so
time
either.
jump, and they didn't think Chandler could pass
Wouldn't
for
look
being
like-
6 years older.
Right.
They just like
can
to
see that,
stab
but-
you and twist the knife. That's all it was.
The point they made Carl go out with was for Rick not to kill Negan and to find a way to live. I feel like it was all just to keep Jeffrey. That's
No,
the hill
his
I'm gonna
death
die on.
was weak as fuck. That was the way for Carl
didn't like it.
motherfucking Grimes to die. Carl Grimes, stop it. Never had to adjust to the post-apocalyptic world. Been with the shits. Stop it. Carl deserves
Got
better.
bit.
Miss
Just
Kayla
got
is-
bit in a random fight scene.
I feel like if Carl was gonna die, he should have died when he stole away in Negan's truck and mowed down all the men, going out in Carl fashion. I felt
Blaze
like,
of glory.
yeah.
Yeah, Miss Kayla agrees with you, Sean, about leave Auntie and Normie alone. So, very end, he's burning his book, which was fucking stupid.
Yep.
And
Yep.
of course, who shows up? Will the real Stephanie please stand up? Please stand up.
Literally what I said.
And
Yep.
and she comes in, and you know, and uses the call signs and everything. And he's like, "Who the hell are you?" And you know, I was actually who you were talking to. But it's hard for him to be like,
Oh,
well,
cool.
oh, now I'm all better now. I'll just love you. You know, there has to be something. Obviously, she cares about him, but, you know, this is like major rebound action, kind of. I don't know how that relationship is going to go. I think they're on a shaky foundation.
I think he gonna bounce back just fine.
Yeah, I had a theory about that, though.
He knew all of that was bullshit, so he's just like, it's gonna take him some time. I feel like he'll be alright.
Eventually, but I still don't know that I'd want Mercer as my brother-in-law. Mess with my sister. Yeah, that'd be screwed up.
Eugene might be into that.
All right. Geronimo wants to know what happened to the Skymon reactions.
I just replied to the comment in the chat.
Okay. Well, yeah. Johnny Odell was doing them, no longer with Skybound for a very stupid reason. On Skybound's part, not his. And, yeah, he was let go. They should have just addressed the issue quickly and, gave him a warning. But now they have Sucky. I don't know who takes care of the social media now, but I don't pay any attention to it at all since John
I tell you one thing.
It ain't never been the same.
I tell you one thing. Walking Dead social media is not hitting how it was. It's not.
No,
it's
not.
I ain't gonna even lie. I'm not even saying that just to say that, but he built that page from all of them years to get it to where it's at, and I'm just like, yeah, the social media ain't.
Do that page even post? I don't even see anything from it ever. Like
on my
they just had some live streams and stuff.
And when it pop up on Instagram.
Speaking of Johnny Odell, he has recently been demonetized by YouTube, and this is his only way of making money. He does have a Patreon. You can support Johnny Odell on his Patreon. He's still going to put some stuff on YouTube, but please support our friend Johnny. He was such an integral part of the reactor community for so long. So please.
I'm putting his Patreon in the description, y'all. This is why I got my own website, because fuck YouTube. But yeah.
So I'm very curious to see where it goes from here. So we're a little bit over time because we always go over time. So let's have final thoughts. And of course, shameless self-promotion. Tomaj, you start us off.
This episode was not my favorite. I pretty much, in the beginning of my reaction, I said all my predictions, and they were pretty much all, true. I feel like it was very predictable. I feel like it was an episode, basically, to get everybody caught up for if you didn't catch, all the earlier hints, because I feel like the story told itself pretty early on. So I feel like they really just did this episode to catch everybody up. Eugene isn't my favorite character to watch, to be honest with you, so it wasn't my favorite. It was okay. Plus, he was frustrating me because he wasn't asking why. Why, Lance? Why are you doing all these things, bro? You just accepting everything that happened to you and then going to your alleyway to cry about it. No, sir, do something, please. So it wasn't my favorite. The Connie bits, the Connie, Mercer, all that story was what I was here for. I like that because Connie was actually investigating and asking why. No, she didn't get a conclusive answer, but it gave her something to keep going. So I'm excited to see that play out. I'm excited to see what Lance does next. Because when Stephanie was leaving her apartment, my thought was okay, the Resistance about to do something, but they ain't really do shit. So I was like, okay, maybe they're moving just a little slow. I don't know, but she just disappeared off the earth. They're planning something, obviously. They meeting in secret for some reason. It ain't an on the books meeting. So what are they doing? Right. That's my big question. So, but I'm looking forward to unveiling this mystery when it comes.
Very cool. Reina.
I like the episode. I think Eugene has grown a lot during the seasons. It was nice to see him still having human feelings and kind of be human and experience emotions that he's never had before. I really like that. I'm scared for Connie. Girl, be careful. Lance, well, I don't like him. I hope that he's going to be gone really, really soon. But I'm actually curious to Alexandria right now. I want to see them. Because we've been in Commonwealth now for 3 episodes. Let's go back to Alexandria and see what they're up to.
Agreed. Machond?
Well, even though Eugene is nowhere near my top favorite characters, I love this episode. I'm never one of the people that gets bored with these type of episodes. I really just enjoy good storytelling. That's really what it was at the end of the day. It don't got to be actions, fight scenes, explosions, and major deaths every fucking episode. They know how to tell a story, so I really did like it. And Eugene amuses me, so that was funny. Yeah, that was a really, 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 really good episode. I didn't even know what the episode was going to be about before watching it. I don't ever watch previews, sneak peeks, nothing. So I really never know. But this episode was very good. I really liked it.
All right. Did you guys, any of you do shameless self-promotion?
No. Machond.com.
Oh,
yeah, nobody did.
Forgot. I totally forgot. Y'all know me, though. Big bro, little sis reacts. Yeah, know.
Definitely subscribe, visit, all that stuff. Victor.
I said it before. I'm going to say it again. Michael Cudlitz hates Eugene. That's what I absolutely got of this episode. That's the forefront of everything that I was thinking as I was watching. I was like, man, this is gonna be really interesting. Wow, Cutlets hates Eugene. That's just what it is. And I'm gonna stand by that forever. You guys can follow me at Vantage In-House on all forms of social media. Just look for the V in the circle. You know what the target is. If you are interested in telling comic book stories yourself, please look up You Create Comics. That's the letter UCRE, the number 8.com, where we have all kinds of programming and tools to help you bring comics into the classroom and to kickstart your comic book universe today.
Awesome.
It's the narrator voice for me.
You should see him moderate a panel, and you just very well might.
Absolutely.
And of course, I am the governor, and I would like to say that this it wasn't my favorite episode, but I definitely did enjoy it. And I think the beauty that some people miss about The Walking Dead is it's not just a horror show. Mm-hmm. You can have an episode where it's pure horror, you know, you can have fighting, action. You can have a love story. You can have a broken...
Western.
You know, you can have a mystery, a conspiracy. There's all kinds of stories that you can tell in this universe and in this show. So I enjoyed it. It was very interesting, and I'm glad that the delusion is gone, that the fake Stephanie has been revealed. And at least now, despite the fact Eugene was hurt, that he can move on and hopefully find something with the real Stephanie. I did enjoy seeing the, you know, more of Lance's, you know, tendrils being revealed as we can see what he's doing. And definitely I'm a little worried for Connie because I think she's digging and she's going to keep digging until she finds something. And whether that's going to bite her is really going to, you know, I really hope it doesn't. But, you know, she is not one to give up just because she's told no. I mean, she already, got Pamela's uncle, like, kicked out of Congress, in jail, something. I don't even remember exactly.
I think it was her brother, wasn't it?
I thought it was uncle, but
either way, it was.
You could be wrong, but
that really just made me sad thinking about like if they killed Connie. Like that really just hurt my feelings. If they do it. We know it's gonna be some kind of big death before the show is over. I mean, get serious. It's Walking Dead. They gonna kill somebody. We know who they not killing.
Yeah.
If they kill Connie, and Daryl, and her sister. I love her. I'm gonna be so mad.
No,
I feel like that's a bad move though. You bring in a community and take out one of their people. Like that's a quick way to start beef. Now,
absolutely.
Like, I don't know.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
that's
now they've
part
integrated into your society.
Even though she ain't doing nothing but telling the truth, she doing what she did pre-apocalypse. Y'all gave her the same job. Y'all knew what kind of journalist she was. She doing her same job. She gonna stay true to herself. So.
And she took down Pamela's daddy. They know who she is.
So
True.
In the White House.
There was a quick question about whether we think Fear will actually cross over with Walking Dead before the end. I think we might see that, or we might actually see people from, you know, depending on how Fear goes as far as the timeline, people might end up traveling from Walking Dead to Fear.
Right.
You know, because Alicia ain't got enough shit to deal with. So, you know. But anyways, we will have more speculation next week as we discuss the next episode. Thanks everyone for tuning in. Thank you, my fine friends, for joining me on this Walking Dead journey. We will see you next time. And by the way, quick note, right now we're on Facebook, Twitch, and YouTube. As of next month, it'll just be YouTube. So just keep an eye out for that. So if you're watching on any other platform, most of you are on YouTube anyway. Keep that in mind. And hopefully we'll see some of you down at Fandemic Dead. And everyone, have fun. Governor and crew out.
Highly sedated, intoxicated. We're automated and overpopulated. We're all fish in a stream. towards a vicious dream.